Hello everyone, I'm High Treason, and I'm going to do another part of this before I go to bed. I'm in that weird state where I want to go to sleep, and I can sleep early when I have headaches, but what happens when I do that is I don't sleep long, and then I feel really, really shit. So, rather than do that, I'll play this for a while, and then I can go to bed. Haha, you fell off your perch. Just to remind you who's boss. Not useful here, is there? I'm still hoping to find a thing that appears in these, and it ain't that, because that's the fucking... Can't stop here. This is bad country. That's fast, this thing. I don't think it'll do much damage. We already have one. The animation's kind of bugged out now, if you notice. I've seen that sort of thing before. Right, let's go. We're at 270, so we have to go 320 minimum. We have far bit of time to do it. Oh jeez, that didn't feel good. It was my guts cramping on me. When I have headaches, they sort of bug my stomach like a little bit. It's like my stomach sort of forgets that it has to do work, you know. It turns a lot of things off. I forget to drink water as well. Well, I don't. I still drink it, but I don't have the urge to drink it very much. And sometimes it just works. If I dehydrate myself, the headache will go away. But yeah, this one's not that painful now, and it is actually, it feels better than it did. So I'm still drinking my usual quantity of water, which is minimum 8 litres a day. I always drank a lot. It's genetic, my whole family does. Drink lots of water, eat lots of salt. I was staying over at my grandparents' house. There was a bunch of us there. In the morning it was like zombies in the kitchen, because my grandmother always insisted on having one of those salt things. The salt doesn't just pour out in fine, like little crystals. There's these big lumps, and you have to twist the top of the thing. And I remember just me and a couple of my cousins and one of my uncles been there, and just like, we're all just all like quite literally just grunting and groaning, trying to figure out how to open the thing so we can just get the big crystals out of it. And they were just passing it round one by one, you know, just like, morning. We don't function without it. We can't retain water without salt. We have real difficulty with that. You know, we feel really, really thirsty, and if we drink, it'll just go straight through us. So you have to eat the salt to be able to absorb it again. I think we just metabolise it very quickly. So, you know, by the time we've been asleep 8 hours, most of our fucking sodium's gone. So yes, the first thing I eat every morning has a decent amount of salt in it, because it has to. You know, it's not even dietary, it's just, like I said, it's just the way we are. We need a lot of it to fucking feel okay. You do get those wheels sometimes at those buildings. We could stop. I swear there's 2 different colour variants of those. Or maybe I'm mistaken. You have to pay closer attention. It might be 2 slightly different buildings that are really similar, you know. I don't think so. I think it's just the way the light is on them sometimes. But like I say, I'll try and pay more attention to that next time we stop at one. Might drive up close to the next one we see, just to see if we can get the wheel trim. How long is it since we've seen a car? Now at this point I swear we're getting on for, you know, a couple of K between cars. Yeah, it'll be a problem if we break something serious, you know, we could end up having to limp quite some distance. Like say if we had issues getting wheels or getting the engine, you know, if we lost that somehow. Like we would have to get the car to work somehow, but we don't get workshops and stuff very often now, do we? So yeah, you know, could be in a jam. We do have to be careful. I might have to start driving slower. I don't know if I can just floor it around so much anymore now. Feels good when you get past the halfway point. You know, you don't ever have as far to go as you did at this point onwards. Of course, really, as we're driving back, we're only 25% of the way done. You do realise that, right? So, when do you think we'll make it to 3,000 kilometres? I mean, surely that should be what? Like, part 60? Do you think we can do it for part 35? I don't think we can do it for part 35. Part 55 I'm in. Because we'll be like, you know, changing our car, and it probably is going to be a Trabant or a 2105, both of which are terrible. They're both slow, they're both... Well, the Trabant handles alright, but it's really, really slow. The 2105's not so slow, but I'm not going to be able to drive it as fast because it doesn't drive very well. This car's very ugly, but it's been good to us. It really has, you know. I can't fault it again. This whole thing has really changed my opinion on the 2101 and the 2102 in this game. I don't know why my previous experience with them was bad. Maybe it was just I hadn't played the game long yet, but I really don't know. I really, really don't know. Maybe he did tweak something. I swear the handling's been different in some way since the big update to the fuel consumption and stuff. And I don't really pretend to understand what or why, and if it was intentional, but you know, maybe that has something to do with it. Really did feel like the physics was slightly adjusted. Maybe he accidentally changed the parameter somewhere and it just worked out good. Is that a boat on the right there? I don't know, but we'll see what we can see when the sun comes up. Can we not roll so much, please? There we go. Brakes are definitely worse on this than the 2101. It's a boat. I'm not interested. Still not very light out here, is it? Maybe we don't want to go that fast yet. Yeah, it is quite ballsy, the engine on this thing. But yeah, I definitely think the brakes are worse on this estate, station wagon, whatever version. Maybe I'm just imagining it. But yeah, we do have to drive the Trabant. We do have to drive a 2105. I mean, we've managed to get halfway down the road without driving either of them. I think that's pretty good going, but you know, it's going to suck, but we have to do it. The bus, I really don't think we can do a bus. I don't think we're going to have a chance, because there's always this risk of mountains. If I deem I'm far enough ahead, then we'll go for it, because the problem with a bus is we'll potentially have to drive backwards. Like if we find a mountain, and yeah. Wow, that's a haunted house, isn't it? It's quite close to the road. Yeah, brakes really don't work well on this car. They work, they just don't work well. Oh, an ugly place. I don't think there's anything of use here. Turlet. That one actually looks like it's plumbed in, that's rare. The thing with the, you know, the buildings are segmented like this makes me wonder if he intended to have random layouts. It's weird how it's white though. Is that intentional? Yeah, it makes me wonder if he meant the layouts of them to be somewhat random and just never implemented it, or didn't implement it yet. Maybe that's a thing we'll get someday. I don't know. I didn't design the game, so there's no point in asking me. Oh, I had plans for that. Well, I'm not going to hang about here. We find those mirrors, but we never find the ones for our mirror. They won't mind, they're the most common mirror type in the whole game. I do get 2105 engines upstairs in these sometimes. I want one. Yeah, I just saw a spider. That's alright, I like them, so I don't care. Like, I sleep in this room and there's like 3 cellar spiders live above my head. They're completely fucking harmless, so they don't bother me, and they're very big, so they're obviously killing something, you know. It's like, well, I don't know what they're eating, but they're eating something, and they're doing a good job if I don't know what it is, so they can stay there, you know. It's nature's pest control spiders. Come free of charge, they're clean. You know, yeah, their webs get a bit dusty, but they're clean, you know. They don't spread bacteria and stuff like bugs do. They don't seek you out to bite you like, say, mosquitoes do. Like, spiders don't want anything to do with you. They don't want to bite you. They're not interested. They'd rather stay the fuck away from you, so... It's funny, if you're around them enough, they don't seem to be as bothered by you. Like, you know, if they live in your house and you get quite close up to them a lot, they seem to just forget about you after a while. It's as if they realise, like, oh, that thing isn't a threat to me. And there's ones I have where they do web across things that I need to get to sometimes, and I do put my end through their webs, and it doesn't really seem to upset them. It's almost like they just cotton on, like, well, that will break, like, occasionally. Like, you know, once a week I'll have to go and fix that, but, oh well, I'm catching bugs here, so... I've said before, my estate has a bit of a trash problem, so we tend to get a lot of flies and stuff. And of course, they will buzz into your house, and, well, they usually get far in mine, because my window next to my back door is just made out of webs, so... Yeah, you know, once they buzz against that, it's game over. No more flies. You know, I don't need to go spraying toxic chemicals or sticking sticky things, and, you know, just leave it to the spiders. They know what they're doing. They've been doing it for millions of years, so they're probably the best at it, you know. They know what they're doing by now. None of them are dangerous in this country. I'm allergic to Disderabites. Those would kill me, but that's an allergy. The venom they have is actually not very potent. It just stings a bit. You might get mild swelling, like localised, where it's nipped you. And they can nip you. They have really, really big fangs, those. They eat wood lice, so, you know, they have to be able to stab through the shell. But, yeah, they're actually pretty harmless to people who don't have that allergy. You almost never see them. They're terrified of light, terrified of people. If they're in a room, you won't usually see them because they will hide as soon as you go in that room, and especially once you turn the lights on, they're not. You won't see them. They will vanish. Although they do get defensive if you perk them. They are ones that will bite if you prod them. Again, they won't come to you. But if you find them and start perking them, they will give you a nip. You know, they don't like it. Oh, my poor car. There's a thing over there, I'm not sure what they are. I should have known it's a goddamn wheel trim. I don't think we lost anything else. Doesn't look like we did. I was going to take that sponge. Yeah, most of the ones we have here, they're not very defensive, you know. We have a lot of Tegeneri here, house spiders. There's a few different species of them. They're related to herbo spiders, but they're not harmful at all, you know. And they pretty much never bite you. Like, you can... They're very fast, so good luck, like, you know... ending up with one on you anyway, unless it falls on you or something. But they're not going to bite generally. I mean, they will occasionally, like, you know, if they get squashed up in your clothes, but for the most part, you could pretty much pick those up and they'll just curl into a ball. You know, they're not very defensive at all, that species. They're nice to have around, you know, they don't make a mess or anything. They're alright. Steaua, false widows, those are pretty neat as well. A lot of people have scarred them because the media pretty much every year, oh, they're dangerous, related to the black widow. And they are related to the black widow. Not dangerous though. And those are not quick to bite either. You know, it's pretty safe, like, you know, around there. They're not going to do anything to you. And the worst bite we have is the great pond spider or something like that. They look just like laceweaver when they're out of water. So, you know, it's either those or like the diving bell spiders. And again, it's not really harmful, it just hurts. It's quite painful, apparently. They're so rare that, you know, good luck ever even finding one. And as they live in the water, well, good luck getting bit by one. You would have to scoop it out and actively try to piss it off. And, you know, just why would you bother doing that? You can't do that and then blame the creature for getting a bit pissed at you. You know, I think if someone shoved his hand through my house and started fucking grabbing me and poking me around, I probably would get a little bit aggressive, you know. Like, I'd probably think whatever was doing it was trying to kill me and I'd want to make it stop, and so I'd just use whatever I had. And, well, if I had a venomous bite, I'd probably use that. So I'd be like, right, well, that might make it stop, you know. What was that? Oh, 320 was our target distance, wasn't it? We might get here way ahead of schedule on this one. Because, I mean, we have 18k to go now, so we seem to have gotten here very quickly for some reason. I don't know, this just seems unusually fast. We've done what? Like, where did we start? This has been like 270. So we've done over 30k in not a whole lot of time. Under 20 minutes, I think. Yeah, this part we could knock out like a really good distance, actually. So maybe I'll just keep going. I'm not sure. I mean, like, we have that part that ran for nearly an hour. I still don't really know how that happened. And like I said, I need those minutes back. I can't lose this bet. You know, people have to post pictures of their favourite pair of shoes or whatever it was. I can't fucking remember. Who cares? I'll win, you lose. It's already pretty much in the bag. I do know if there is someone else who has played this on YouTube, and they did go all the way to the end of the road, and I think it took them more than 100 episodes. And I think a lot of their episodes were longer than mine. I haven't watched it. I may have caught a bit of it, but yeah. You know, I think I sort of started watching it and it turned into just some other guy screaming like a schoolgirl, having fucking cold water chucked over her, and I'm not into that sort of style, you know. So people have their own audiences who they've got to entertain in their way, you know. It's like, I'm a bit more mundane and sober, I think, which is less popular, so, you know, but I'm not aiming to be one of the cool kids, I'm just me, so you get what you're fucking given and it's good enough, or go and find it somewhere else. That's does that come across as hostile? It might do, I don't intend it to, but maybe you could interpret it that way. Pretty certain we'll not. Toilet on the roof, it's like The Sims. I would totally do that in real life, just to upset my neighbours. I remember where I used to live before. I actually lived on a main road. And it was... I liked living on a main road. It was quieter. It sounds silly, but because you had constant noise, you didn't hear it. Because there was always traffic. And, yeah, you know, one of the cool things about that, you know, that I figured I might be able to do, I was like, well, I'll live on this main road. Drunk people walk up and down this main road every weekend, and quite often they piss on the street. And so I figured, like, well, what if I was to purchase, like, a couple of porter shitters, somehow make them coin operated, and leave them on the driveway. And I actually gave serious thought to this, like, how much money could I make out of this? The reason I didn't do it was the fact that they cost a lot of money, so I didn't know if I'd ever be able to make it back. And plus I figured the council wouldn't be very impressed with this, especially not as I would kind of have to bolt them down to stop people tipping them over. That's a very angry rabbit out there somewhere. I don't know where he is. I don't care. He can go fuck himself. You know, but I did figure, like, you know, it could have been a profitable little venture, like. Yeah, like I say, what put me off was the cost and the fact that I knew the council would never let me do it, and plus I'd have to pay some guy to come and empty them every once in a while. And like I say, I could have probably turned a decent bit of money eventually. It would have taken years, but depend how much I could get away with charging for it. You know, like how much do we need to bill for this? And I guess that would depend on the demand on it. You know, I don't own a car, so, you know, I can just stick things on the driveway. I don't have a driveway on this house, so... And I'm not on a main road, so I can't make money that way. I'll have to think of some other way. Maybe we can make money out of, put a roadblock in and make people have to put coins in that to make it, like, open. We used to do it when we were children. We used to put all the bins across the road. You know. And if people came up in their cars, we used to be like, yeah, give us like a quid or we're not moving here. Now most people would just drive like around and come in the other side of the street. But some people would pay you some amount of money, so, you know, it was worth doing. Hell, I come from a nice neighbourhood. I used to build roadblocks out of snow as well. I was real proud, like the last year I was there, and I looked down one of the side streets and the local kids was just finishing, just building their own. I'm like, oh, cool, they still do that? I used to build in my time was bucket snowmen. I don't know if people still do that. And what a bucket snowman is if you went down the grocery store, they get the flowers in these really sort of cheaply made plastic buckets. And rather than reuse the plastic buckets, they just sell them for 5 for 99 pence. Now, you know, we probably made that much out of these roadblocks when it wasn't snowing, or so, you know. And so we could buy them. And what you'd do is you'd buy like 5 of these buckets for 99 pence. And then what you would do is you would fill them full of rubble, like bits of brick and stone and stuff. Gravel, anything that would be hard. You know, if we could have got cement, we'd have probably put that in there. And then you'd build a snowman on it. You know, the body of the snowman would be the bucket with just snow packed around it. And you'd put it somewhere really inconvenient where you knew somebody was likely to kick it. Yeah. It hurt people quite a lot when they did. It served them right. It shouldn't have been kicking our fucking snowman. I mean, I know we built it in the middle of the fucking crossroads, but... well, that's tough shit. You're going to have to go someplace else. The other thing you used to do if you really didn't like someone that was freezing up is you'd stay up late and dump a bucket of hot water on their garden path. And if you were really lucky, it'd ice over like real smooth, and then they'd fall on their arse in the morning. Not very nice. I don't recommend doing any of these things, but it's just fun things you did when you were a child, you know. At least where I come from, it's not so common elsewhere. Well, so I don't think it's very common here now. I think these things have died out. It's like tuning TVs in, that's died out. You know, people in my age group and older will probably understand. You know, they will have some level of understanding of the fine art of tuning in a fully analogue television. We have the little door with the little tuning knobs behind it for each channel, like each preset channel. And sometimes when you couldn't get something to come in clear, what you had to do was leave that little door open, because for reasons beyond explanation, that made the, for some reason, squids. That for some reason made the picture come in better. I don't think anyone really knows why it did. But it did. Like, if you shut the door, it made the picture worse on a weak signal. You can figure that one out. Fucking hell, he hit the car hard. I hope it killed him. I think we are just about coming up on our target distance soon. Yeah, we've got 3k to go and loads of time to spare. I think we'll try and go to 333. Just to say we did. Try, I can't promise, but we'll give it a go. You have to agree though, the spawns are shit. Like, we're just not going to stop much because there's not really anything to stop for. You know, the spawns are definitely a lot worse. I haven't been anywhere near this far out since the update happened, and yeah, it's pretty bad. Like, I don't mind it, but like I say, it's kind of unfair on me because I couldn't record this until, you know, fairly recently, and so everyone else has got to do it when the spawn rates were really high. And they had all this shit to look at, and I don't, so we just have driving left. But at least my driving's better than most people I've seen play this. You know, I do think this at least stands out as somebody actually doing a Let's Play of this somewhat seriously. Like actually doing what they can to make as much progress as possible. I maybe faff about a little more and go a bit slower than I would with things if I was on my own, but we're still, you know, taking this much more seriously than really anyone else I've seen play it. There will be somebody else out there doing it because there's just so many people in the wild, and I've missed you and I'm sorry for that, but you probably ain't seen me either, so hey, you know, it is what it is. The world's a big place. And believe it or not, I don't spend that much time on the internet. Like, you know, like, a lot of people seem to have this thing of like, oh, he's on YouTube, he must spend loads of time on YouTube. I actually don't. Like, my browser spends a lot of time on YouTube, because I let it just play random things when I'm not, like, you know, there. Solely because, you know, it's a bit of background noise, but I'm not usually really looking at it very much. I'm often doing other things. I don't... The internet is certainly not my first priority. It's very far from it, and pretty much everything else is more important to me. You know, the internet is just it's a novelty. It's a magical, fascinating novelty to me, because I'm just old enough to remember a world that it wasn't widespread in. But it's not something I need, and it's not something that, you know, I absolutely fucking have to be around. It's, you know, priority will go to other things first. Maybe that's unusual in today's age, you know. A lot of people now, They practically live on the internet. They don't really go outside very much or anything. I don't go outside as much as I like. I'm going to have to start doing it more as my stomach continues to improve. I can ride a bike a little bit now without feeling all that bad. So, you know, I've got to get back into that stuff. I like being outside. I like making things. I'm more of a creator than a consumer. I prefer to create rather than consume. And I'd class like riding a bike more as creating something. Like, I'm not making something as such, but I'm not really consuming anything other than the air that's outside and whatever I got to eat and drink to get the energy to push the bike about. You know, it's I'm creating muscle, I guess. I'm improving myself by doing that. And that's something that I think it's easy to forget for a lot of people, you know, but I don't think they're bad people or anything. I wouldn't want you to think I was saying that, because some people maybe would read it that way. And that's not at all what I mean, you know. I just think it's very easy to forget when you do get, you know, some activity that takes up a lot of your time and you want to improve like at that and improve that thing, or improve, you know, a community, an object, something or other, and it is sometimes, I think, very easy to forget to improve yourself in the process. Whereas it is something I actively try to do when I can't, you know, exercise because of my stomach. You know, I instead have tended to read quite a lot. You know, I try and maybe learn a few things I didn't know. I mean, shit, I can do things I never thought I'd do, you know. I thought I'd be able to weld. And I needed to do it. And a lot of things I have learnt just because I've sort of needed to, or, you know, it's been necessity. I never thought I'd be able to do music, but no one else is going to do it for me. I'll learn how to do it myself, you know. I still don't know a lot about music, like, in the way they teach it, like, in an academic setting or something, but I at least know enough that I can write a song, you know. I have my own terminology for things, but that's fine because I'm the only person working on it, so as long as I know what I mean, it's alright. But if I put 100% my focus into that music, is that good for me in the long run? And I don't really think it would be. This looks like a diner. This, I think, is an ideal place to stop. And there's a good chance of... Wow, what was that flash? Ah, truck. Wow, that's weird. It was like just dispensing things in there. It's a red truck. It's like a throwback to what we had before the second truck. This is Truck City. We don't have any of them fucking wheels, do we? Let's get decently clear of the building. We've pretty much on our target. We're a half K off of 333. It doesn't really make a difference. You know, we're more than 10K over our total target for the day. Lots of cleaning supplies. We can steal mirrors from those trucks. I'd feel kind of bad doing it though. I have a lot of respect for them trucks. They'd drag my ass all the way at the end of the road once. So we'll probably just do a manual save in a minute. It makes me wonder if we're better stealing hubcaps off them, you know. I mean, there's two identical ones. Maybe we'll just leave them and just keep the car this way. I mean, I kind of like the car having one or two scars to say that it went so far and did so many things. So maybe that's what we'll do. You know, maybe that's how we'll approach this. I don't want these trucks to get mangled by the building when it loads again, so that is it. Blue if there ever was one. Well, there's no mirrors in here. Lots of shit. There's shit everywhere in this game. You know, people are going to be, oh, your Iron Fury modification is like really grotty and gross and stuff, and it probably is, but it doesn't have as much tard in it as this game does. This game is pretty high up on the tardometer, and I love it for it. It's brilliant. More games need gross things like that in them. Real life's full of gross stuff. We fucking know this. I didn't even check if that other one started, you know. Let's give it a quick test, and then we'll do a save, and we'll, that don't run. I don't think it's low on oil or anything, though. That's weird. Yeah, it's got tons of oil in it. No diesel, it's only got empty in there. Nothing on the roof. I don't think so. Fucking hell, they don't want to go up there today. Whoa! Not that fucking flying. Well, we'll figure this out next time, I guess. I'm High Treason, thanks for watching, and we're going to do a manual save. Do 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 do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do do. So we are part 47. 47-2571. So we did a good 60k. We seem to be averaging that slightly over 63k. That lines up. I'm happy with that. Can we ballpark how far we're going to go? I mean, where are we going to be by part 50? We're doing 60k a part. So, I mean, we're going to be like, what? You know, 2630? And then it's going to be 2690? And then it's going to be 2750 in part 50, like, if we're at the rate we're going. Maybe we can do 3,000 by part 55, but I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see. I'm High Treason, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. I'm going to go to bed.